Away we go. Tuesday edition of the show. All across America on Sports Map Radio. We are worldwide on the Sports Map Radio app. It's good to have you along for the ride. The fun and frivolity of the cash in on Sports Map Radio. A lot to get to over the next 3 hours. We will attempt to tackle it all. Hey, I actually get to watch the NBA. I got to tell you, blackouts drive me nuts. I mean, I live in LA, and I always thought, God, I'm sunburnt. It's terrible. I always thought that games on TNT or ESPN could not be blacked out. But inexplicably tonight, the Lakers-Grizzlies game, which I was looking forward to watching, was blacked out. I had no NBA to watch tonight. Brian McDonald, hold on, let me introduce you. Brian McDonald is our producer, engineer extraordinaire working on the show tonight in Houston, pushing all the buttons. And always good to be paired back up with him for the broadcast of this program tonight, part of the A team, I like to say. When I turned on TNT tonight, I could not. Oh my God! You got to go and look at the video feed, Brian. I look like a lobster. It was 50. It was 52 degrees. Hey Google, turn off the office light. I was here in Palm Springs today for the it was media day so there's a new PGA Tour Champions event. PGA Tour the Champions Tour, which is the 50 plus people. And they had an event today, a media day, at the course where it's being held, which is 15 minutes from my condo. So I said, I'll go. Free round of golf, get to meet Fred Funk. Did an interview with him. You'll hear it a little later because he is one of the most outspoken people associated with professional golf. If there's a guy you want to talk to when you have questions and you want answers and not a guy who's going to dance around, especially at, 63 or 66 years old, I think he is, still playing on the Champions Tour. Guy's in better shape than me, by the way, by 100 years. Those are the people, but those are the people you want to talk to. So I said, I'll go talk to him, get a free breakfast. Hey, listen, we've all worked in this industry a long time, and we never turned down a free meal. I did. I was bad today. I was not good on my diet. No, hold on. So I asked, they had the press conference, and then I did a pull aside with him. And you'll hear it coming up a little later on in this hour of the program. So, I went, and it was literally like 54 degrees today. It was cold. It's been really cold in Palm Springs. Like when we were getting ready to play, it was like 45, 46. I didn't wear any sunscreen. And it was sunny, but not like blazing hot sun. And I look like a lobster. I am like bright red. Anybody who's watching on the video stream tonight will notice that I'm like bright red. And I don't know how, but somehow I'm bright red. So I look like a lobster. Gonna be doing the show as a lobster tonight. Oh, the blackout's over. I could see the TNT post game. And just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. That I can't watch the Lakers and Grizzlies. Yeah, I wonder if it's a YouTube TV issue because I've like I said, I've never had this problem before, and I've watched Lakers national games on TNT before, but for some reason, maybe it has something to do with the Tuesday night versus Thursday night. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. I don't get it. Weird. But anyway, at least I'll be able to watch the late game tonight. But kind of screwed me on the Lakers Grizzlies game, which I get. I mean, look, there's no LeBron in that game, so I mean the expectations were that the Lakers were going to get their doors blown off. What was the final? Anybody know? I'm not sure. I didn't get to watch the game like many of you. I didn't get to actually see the game. Let's see. Final was Grizzlies 121, Lakers 109. And look, if this is a sneak peek of what is left for the Lakers, for at least 3 or 4 weeks, if LeBron is out that long, you've got to get the sense they're going to miss the playoffs. They're going to miss the play-in tournament. They're going to miss everything. No. Well, I mean, the rest of the way. I mean, when you're talking about 10th, though, could they squeak in and get into the play-in tournament? Possibly, I suppose. Let me give people the phone number as we're just getting started on the show. 1-800-224-2004 is the phone number. 800-224-2004. You can hit me up on Twitter as well, at the back page. And we have the brand new cash-in text line. Yes, we've added a text line because I want to make it easy for you. Not everybody likes the sound of their own voice. Not everybody likes to... Thank you. Appreciate that. Not everybody likes the sound of their own voice. They like to be able to text in. So for our show, exclusively, 888-670-8549. Toll free. Text us with your thoughts on anything at all. 888-670-8549. Just make sure to tell us your name, where you're texting from, and we will shout you out here on the air. Yeah, because I talk like this. Yeah, like somebody's plugging my nose. Something like that. Is that what you're doing? By the way, I went birdie par on the 14th, 15th, and 16th hole at the Dinosaur Championship course today. Yes. Thank you. I still got game. For somebody who barely plays golf anymore, I shot a 90. And I mean, if I play golf, 10 times a year right now, I used to play 3-4 days a week. I shot a 90 today. And that was ask me tomorrow. Tell you what, call me tomorrow morning and I'll tell you. Because I won't feel it until tomorrow. Because you're just using different muscles and different parts of your body, the hip movement and stuff like that. It can be rough. It can be rough if you're not playing often and you're trying to use those body parts. But see, you and I haven't worked together in a couple weeks. I've actually dropped about 15 pounds. Yep, I'm actually down about 15 pounds in the last 3 weeks. So trying to take better care of myself. I wasn't very good today, though. You asked what they had at the... they had scrambled eggs with like some peppers mixed in. Some green stuff was in it. I'm assuming they were peppers. Wouldn't have mattered. They could have later told me it was strychnine, and I still would have eaten it. They had bacon. Oh, and it was crispy bacon. And I have been foregoing bacon for the last 3 weeks because of my diet. And I have to get some of my numbers down, and pork isn't good. So I've been not eating bacon. Today I just gorged on bacon. Then they had sausage. They had bagels, all that stuff. Oh, I went all out. Yeah. In fact, the guy, and you walk into these events. And the Palm Springs, I'm sorry, I got to say this. The Palm Springs media is so minor league. Like, it really is. It's just minor league media. All these people come in. Nobody asks any hard questions. It's, if you were a tree, what tree would you be? How's Bernard Langer at 62 still able to do what he does? Is he lying about his age? Ha, ha, ha. And I'm just, and I'm the one who stands up with the microphone, and I'm like, all right, what do you think of Live Golf? And why'd it take 30 years to get an event back here in a town that's filled with a bunch of old fogies? If anybody was made for the Champions Tour, it's Palm Springs. Everybody's over 50. So it's local, and some people come in from LA when it's a PGA Tour event, but this is a Champions Tour event. I mean, it's Fred Funk, who I like, but The LA media is not coming in to talk to Fred Funk. It's just not happening. So but the media that's there, oh, this Hall of Fame golf writers there, and they're just asking softball questions. So I grab the mic and I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna ask you the hard questions that nobody else is gonna ask. So that's what I do, and they all just give me dirty looks, like making us look bad, Sonny. I almost spilled my oatmeal. No, actually, it's kind of interesting about the plates. I came back to my table, which had a bunch of, probably guys in their 30s or 40s. And I came back with a second plate today, and I got the look. I got that look that you get when you come back with a second plate. And I was like, hey, I got time to kill. Second plate, a little extra bacon. Yeah. Actually, yeah, well, Mission Hills was a little bit. Used to be. Mission Hills used to be an LPGA major up until last year. So this is the first year of this PGA Tour Champions event. I won't bore you with the details, but Fred Funk later on in the hour, my conversation with him. All right, we'll come back and start the actual show. I'm Jason Page. It's the Cash In on SportsMap Radio. Oh, my God. It's just the greatest. It really is. Dude, you got to turn on the video feed. I am so friggin' bright red. It's nuts. I don't know how I look angry. My nose, I look like Rudolph. This is terrible. Yeah. Does my face look thinner? I'm losing weight. See, my face looks a little thinner. I'm dropping weight. Yeah, but then I looked at myself. I must have been slouching, and the camera angle, the Fred Funk interview that I did. Thankful you are with us tonight. It's audio and video. I looked so fat in this interview. Now, I'm not one of these people that's, that self-conscious, like crazy self-conscious. Watching this, I was so self-conscious. Oh, my God. I look terrible. I look absolutely awful. I look so fat. Good. Like I said, I played well. I missed a hole-in-one by 6 feet on the 14th today. I hit a what was that, 7-iron?
Event back here, 30 years in a market that seems like it's just.
There's me and Fred Funk. Look at how if you look at the video feed right now, that's a preview of the interview. Look at it's terrible. How fat I look. Oh my God, look at that. I look preggers. I look friggin' preggers. Oh my God. Oh, it's awful. Lori Lightfoot voted out as Chicago mayor. That's the end of that. Whew. Absolutely nothing. Because if you run into a hot goaltender during the postseason, all that work during the regular season could be for naught. Naught. You like that? I said naught. But I mean, it's true. I mean, you're getting a. It's a little different because I'll tell you why it's different than that. Because in baseball, it's not like the old days where guys are throwing complete game shutouts. You got to throw 4 or 5 pitchers out there to win a playoff game. So it's really not the same. I mean, in the NHL, you get a goalie that stands on his head, he can singularly change a series. So even the Rangers getting Patrick Kane, I mean, that's great and all, but at the end of the day, the Rangers are going to go as far as their goaltending takes them. And that's the case for a lot of these teams. That's why we were talking last night on the show about the Los Angeles Kings. You know, they've got Jonathan Quick, who I loved. I think he's 3rd now all time on the NHL's scoring. I think he's 3rd all time on the NHL's goaltender wins list. That's great. But are you winning a Stanley Cup with 37-year-old Jonathan Quick in net? I mean, it's got to make you a little uncomfortable. It's got to make you nervous if you're a fan of that. It's got to make you nervous if you're a fan of that Los Angeles Kings team, who's near the top of the Western Conference standings. So, we got a text from the 313. Jason, what's up? Once the Packers GM spoke today at the Combine, to me, the writing's on the wall for me when it comes to Aaron Rodgers' future in Green Bay. I 1,000% agree with you on him not playing with the Packers next season. That text from the 313. Make sure to send us your name, by the way, when you send us a text. The cash-in text line is open, 888-670-8549. We're back with more on the cash-in at SportsMap Radio.
Not too many people I know have done that journey.
There's 2 choices the person has. Wait for the world to bring the darkness upon them.
Come in. And it did. A lot of great contemplation around, how I show up in the world. And then, I spent parts of a couple of days imagining what it would be like to retire, and then imagining what it would be like to continue to play.
What's going on with his voice? Going through some changes there. When it's time to change. When it's time to change.
event back here, 30 years in a market that seems like it's just ripe for it.
Yeah, it is, but I think again we
By the way, that was James in Detroit, Michigan that texted us from the 313. Asked me if I would be shocked if the Bruins won the Stanley Cup. Yeah, listen, I think if you are any one of the teams that get into the Stanley Cup Finals, you have a chance to win. If you can just ride a hot goalie. Now, obviously, look, last year, Tampa Bay, really good team. Colorado, really good team. So you can't just rely on goaltending because the Rangers did that and it only got them so far, and then they were eventually eliminated by the Lightning. Got to be able to score the puck. I mean, Boston is a juggernaut. They're having a fantastic year. My only point in talking about the Bruins the way I was discussing them is the fact that if you run into a hot goaltender, and we see it happen every year in the NHL, if you run into a hot goalie, it just doesn't matter how good you are. You run into that brick wall. And as you know, and it's hard to beat a team 4 times in 7 games. That's tough. Especially in a sport like the NHL, where I think the teams are largely evenly matched. The travel is a lot more regulated in the postseason when you're talking about a 7-game series. You see each other night after night. Same thing in the NBA. The Knicks have beaten the Celtics 2 out of 3 times this year. Knicks, by the way, playing really well. And, the Knicks have beaten them 2 out of 3 times. And you start thinking, wow, maybe the Knicks, if they get the Celtics in the postseason, if they draw them, they could figure out a way to get away. Look, if the Knicks play the Celtics in the postseason, they're probably going to lose. Because then you're matched up on a night-in, night-out basis. The rotations get smaller. And, you run into some real matchup problems if you're the Knicks over the course of a 7-game series. But on a one-off, depending on, if you're catching the Celtics on the back end of a back-to-back, guys are banged up, not playing as hard because it's the regular season. You can pick them off for a night. And all of a sudden, at the end of the year, you've beaten them 3 out of 4 times. And all of a sudden, you start to dream, oh, yeah, we can beat this team in the playoffs. The Knicks aren't beating the Celtics in the playoffs. And I'm a Knicks fan. I'd kill for them to beat the Celtics in the playoffs. But they're not beating the Celtics in the playoffs. I didn't do any live betting in the last segment, so let me get some in now, and then we'll hear a few words from Fred Funk, who I talked to at the Gallery Classic Media Day today. And the reason I'm giving you Fred Funk is because he said some really interesting things regarding Live Golf as well as Tiger Woods that I want to get into. One thing in particular that he dropped in here about Tiger Woods would probably be a headline, certainly around the golf world. And you're going to hear it from him coming up here in a few minutes. That's called a tease. Indianapolis leads Dallas 112-102. Our friends in Dallas are not going to be happy. Look, can they win with Kyrie and Luka together? I think you have to start already wondering. Now we've seen enough of a sample. And granted, this team's going to make the playoffs and they'll be judged on what they do in the postseason. But here we are again. Kyrie tonight, 5 of 11, 12 points, very pedestrian, 8 assists, 4 rebounds. Luka doing his thing like he always does, 32. Dallas losing at home tonight, though. And remember, they gave up a lot to get Kyrie. I will keep going back to this. If I'm a Mavericks fan And I don't hear anybody talk about this. If I am a Mavericks fan, I'm steamed that we didn't do more to keep Jalen Brunson. And then we went and gave up the farm to get Kyrie Irving. And the difference between Kyrie Irving and Jalen Brunson this year, if you look at the numbers, it's minuscule. And you're not getting the headache of the flat earther that Kyrie Irving is, as opposed to Jalen Brunson, who just goes out there and plays well every night. So to me, you basically could have kept Jalen Brunson and had the same thing if, frankly, a guy that already had developed chemistry, you didn't have to question whether or not it was going to work with him and Luka. You knew it worked. And now instead, you've got Kyrie, and you can't win games with him. I mean, they've played worse, I think, if we go by the numbers. The Mavericks are only 32-30. They lose tonight, they're a game over 500. They've dropped 4 of their last 5. If they lose tonight, it's 5 of their last 6. I mean, they just have not been good since Kyrie got there. There's just no escaping that. And again, what's the correct sample size? Is it 5 games? Is it 10 games? Is it 15 games? What's the correct sample size? I don't know the answer to that. We'll talk next hour with Justin Termini from Sirius NBA Radio. Get some thoughts with him. Host the afternoon show with Eddie Johnson, former 6th man of the year. So we'll get some thoughts with Justin. I'm curious to when you push the panic button. When do you start to worry that it's just not going to work? We'll get into that in the next hour of the show. Hey, the Buccaneers finally figured out Leonard Fournette doesn't work well. Yeah, that his time in the league is probably up. Remember the whole big game Lenny before the playoff game against Dallas? Everybody was trying to sell you on the idea that Leonard Fournette was going to just regain the form of 3 years ago and suddenly become a great running back again. How'd that work out for the Buccaneers? No. I'm surprised. I got to tell you, the Rangers right now on Stanley Cup futures betting on FanDuel are still going off at plus 1,200. And maybe, I don't know why, but if I were, and look, that's the 5th, that's tied for the 5th best, That's tied for the 5th best odds to win the Stanley Cup. But I'm going, and maybe that's changed since yesterday. I can't remember what the number was yesterday before they made this deal today. Should have taken a snapshot of it. The Rangers are plus 1,200. And that's not bad. It's not bad at all. And I'd take them at those numbers, especially with what they have in net. I'd take the Rangers at plus 1,200 right now over on FanDuel. That's not terrible. And the best odds are the Bruins plus 500. The Avalanche are plus 650. And I said this last night on the show, and I'll reiterate it. If the Bruins are having this historic season, one of the greatest regular seasons of all time, why is the difference between them and the Avalanche negligible when you're talking about the betting on the futures to win the Stanley Cup? And the Hurricanes don't come in all that far behind, where the Bruins and Avalanche are. So why is that? Because it's hockey and a goaltender could simply just dash your hopes just like that. That's what I said last night. I'll say it again. How's Russell Westbrook doing tonight? Anybody look into that yet? What's going on in that game? Clippers lead the T-Wolves 32-26. We had Kurt Heelan on the show last night. Pro Basketball Talk at NBCSports.com. He's still not ready yet to buy in on the Clippers. And I watched him play against Denver the other night, and for the first time, I actually saw a path where I think the Clippers could wind up coming out of the West. First time I've watched them and really analyzed and sort of dissected their game. And look, I mean, there's obviously Paul George and Kawhi Leonard and all of that stuff. I thought Westbrook actually played really well for them. In the third quarter on Sunday night, I think he had 11 points. Still very good going to the basket. For some reason, he can't make layups anymore. I don't know what that's about. But I watch Westbrook in this situation with the Clippers, and I love the fact that Tyronn Lue just basically said, you know what, go be you. Go play the way you play, and we'll figure out how to make it work within what we do, and not putting pressure on him to come in and be, the final piece of a championship puzzle for the Clippers. He looks like a guy that is completely at peace with whatever happens and his legacy in the league and all of that stuff. He doesn't look like a guy that's panicked or depressed about how he's played. Not in the least bit. I thought it was a great move for the Clippers. And the funny part is Vegas didn't think so. I think the odds on them to win the NBA championship, the futures on it actually went down. Their odds got worse. Their odds actually got worse as a result of their decision to go and get Russell Westbrook. Vegas thought they got worse. We're coming back. Don't go anywhere. Really? The commercial playing didn't tell me we were clear? Clear? Really? Thanks. God, I'm sorry I couldn't give you which segments from that Wednesday show were good, but that was easily like the best show I had since I started doing a show in terms of like the content. There were so many. I mean, literally every segment was promo worthy. It was that good. Right. Mm. Nice.
Event back here, 30 years in a
Little ode to Detroit for our man James, who hit us up on the text line. The cash-in text line is open. Have to make some fancy imaging for that. 888-670-8549 if you want to text the show. If you love the sound of your own voice, though, 1-800-224-2004. Again, the call-in number, 800-224-2004. And again, on the text line, exclusive to the cash-in, 888-670-8549 if you want to weigh in with anything. You are welcome to do so. Justin Termini, JT, from SiriusXM NBA Radio coming up in the next hour of the show, about 30 minutes from now. We'll hear from him. So I had an interesting conversation today with Fred Funk, who was in Palm Springs to promote the Gallery Classic. It is the return of the Champions Tour, the PGA Champions Tour, to Palm Springs, which it hadn't been here in 30 years, which is crazy to me in a town full of, for lack of a better word, old people. It's kind of surprising to me that you would not have had the Champions Tour in a golfing hotbed like Palm Springs. I asked Fred Funk about that, but listen later in the conversation because it gets very interesting when we start talking about both LIV Golf and the question of whether Tiger Woods would ever play on the Champions Tour. Most people believe he wouldn't. Take a listen.
event back here, 30 years in a market that seems like it's just
Well,
right
it works
for
better when I actually hit the right button
I
and the
think,
audio
again,
plays. Now you're going to have to wait a second. So,
The
sorry about
unwritten
that.
rule, you don't go up.
All right, now in his own words, here's Fred
back
Funk.
here, 30 years in a market that seems like it's just ripe for it.
Yeah, it is, but I think again, the unwritten rule, you don't go up against a tour event at the same time of year, especially, and the LPGA, you just don't want to step on each other's toes too much. Obviously, I call it the mothership, but the PGA Tour is the mothership, and where they are, we stay away from. We're more of a smaller market type communities that we go to around the country. And then when we were blocked because of that, I would say, and then you had the ladies playing here every year and having the, just the history of Dinah Shore and all the girls that play here and all the great champions they've had here and great tournaments they had and all the stuff that happens on 18. It's pretty special that we don't come in and do that. So when they left, I don't know how it all unfolded quickly and how quickly it did, but obviously it was pretty quick. And they moved on to Houston, which I just found out that they went to Carlton Woods, Nicklaus course, and we came in here, and that's fantastic.
How difficult is it to replace such an established event like that and not try to be as big as that, or you know what I mean, in terms of there's a certain crowd, there's a certain demo that went to that tournament. Now this is something different. Do you think it's going to be a different crowd, a different type of golf fan that comes out, or you just think golf fans are golf fans, they're going to come?
I think the age group is just going to be the same that's coming out. They're going to come out and watch the guys that they have recognized and watched played when they were on the regular tour. And some of us now are in our mid-60s that are still playing. Jay Haas is the oldest active guy, and I'm the second oldest. And Bernhard, Jay? Yeah. Jay's 69. I'm 66.
It's incredible.
And Bernhard's 65. And then we got a couple other guys that are right there. But Jay's still playing really well. Of the three, those three, I'm playing the least well. But it's neat to watch those guys. But then we got the storylines with the new guys. Big difference, like a 52-year-old, like a teenager, coming out on the Champions Tour. Your body's still working, you're still competitive, you're fired up, you're ready to go. You got the unbelievable playing ability of what Steve Stricker's doing. He's still playing it. If he plays full-time, totally focused, he'd be the guy to beat, I think, coming out. Alker's one of them. Bernhard will always be one. But then you got Miguel when he gets hot, and Darren Clarke when he gets hot, and Patrick Harrington, who's playing great right now. Stephen Ames is playing phenomenal right now. So you got some really Jerry Kelly, another one that comes to mind that plays good almost every week, and a couple others. So you got these core group of guys that are beating each other's heads in every week and going toe to toe, and usually one or two of the guys that will normally finish 30th or 25th or something will pop up into that top 10 for that week, and then they pop back up again. So it's same thing that happens on a regular tour, but we have a lot of good quality golf. The other thing I didn't mention is that we average 7,100 yards on our tour, and I meant to say that, and it never gets mentioned, but 7,100 yards, we're playing some pretty long golf courses. So,
do you? I think I know the obvious answer to this question. Maybe I don't. Do you feel like you could still win?
I do if I got a hit on every cylinder, and I don't have. I mean, I was never even a V8, so I was like a V6 or straight 6 cylinder, and a couple of those were missing. But yeah, I do believe stubbornly. I played good one tournament last year that shot 65 the first round with leading. Played just as good the next day, shot 75, came back with 68. If I turned that 75 into a 70, which I played good enough to do, I could have won, and that gave me hope. But I got to play. I mean, I'm giving up too much right now.
Do you ever imagine that somebody like Tiger would play this tour? Or do you think when he's done on the PGA Tour in a couple of years he's done?
I didn't think he would, but we were just in a meeting last year. Not a meeting, but we were at lunch talking about that. And I said, Tiger will never come out here. And then all of a sudden our commissioner said, he wants to play. I went, really? I said, that'd be unbelievable if he does. So that'd be fantastic.
Do you think the guys like Phil who went to live and some of the older guys who went over there, that if they wanted to come and play this tour at some point, you think they'd be welcome?
No, they knew what they were getting into. No, you can't let them cross the line. They crossed the line. You can't let them cross back.
So even if they left that behind, you don't think so?
No, I don't think so. I don't see that happening. They already knew what they were signing up for. So I don't blame them. I don't blame, or I like that aspect that they knew what they were signing up for. They're not allowed back. At the same time, if they are eligible for whatever majors they're eligible for, then they should be able to play in the majors, the 4 majors on the regular tour. Champions Tour, they already gave that up. But if you're age 65 or younger, I think you can play the Masters as a past champion. I think you should not have that taken away from you. That's a whole different entity. You earned that spot. You didn't lose that spot just because you signed up. That's a separate entity. But regular tour event, that's a different deal.
Last one. Think Tiger could still win another major?
Tiger's Tiger. Tiger's a different animal. Every time I said he was going to win if he comes back healthy, he's not in pain. He did. And he come back and he won a major, he did. And Tiger's just a different animal. He played great at Riviera. He played some really good stuff and showed he had 178 ball speed, 180 a couple times. I mean, it's amazing. He's got that kind of speed on a freaking leg that should have been amputated. So, crazy.
We'll see you back here in a few weeks. Thanks.
Yeah, can't wait. Thanks. Yeah, you got it.
Fred Funk, who I was fortunate enough to have a conversation with, but certainly raised eyebrows when he said that he's heard that Tiger actually wants to play on the Champions Tour. Because I think many people, and Tiger's even said, he feels like he has a couple of years left in his leg, and then that's it. But that doesn't sound to me like Tiger's, if what you hear from the PGA Champions Tour commissioner is true, Tiger may still play. Do they walk on the Champions Tour? Or do they ride carts? See, I think they might ride carts. And if Tiger can ride a cart, he could play till he's 100 with the kind of shape and condition that he stays in. Very interesting. Very interesting. Hey, if you get a second, go and check out my friends at jockmkt.com. Go to jockmkt.com. Download the JockMKT app. This site is really cool, and this app is really cool. Gives you a chance to win. You can invest in your favorite players. Rather than going and drafting a whole fantasy team, you can just draft one guy. If that's not cool, if you're not into the whole, buying shares in your favorite player, you can also play in their brand new Pick'em games. Go to jockmkt.com or just download the Jock MKT app. It's even easier using the app. Use promo code CASHIN right now and get a 100% deposit bonus. That's right. jockmkt.com. Go and download the app and go and check it out. Promo code CASHIN. New Pick'em games available at jockmkt.com. We're back with another hour of the Cash In. In that hour, you'll hear from Justin Termini from SiriusXM NBA Radio. I didn't hear a 10. Okay. I was just making sure it wasn't my imagination. Okay. God. Wake up call. Alrighty then. Yeah. And what you couldn't see, he might be able to make a promo out of that. When I was asking him the question, you can only see this in the video, but when I was asking him the question, he was literally shaking his head as soon as he heard me kind of intimate the idea of, could they come back? He was so against the idea. Yeah. Another hour of the show starts right now on Sports Map Radio and the Sports Map Radio app. Glad you're with us tonight. Clippers lead the T-Wolves 44-39. I bring this up because it adds a little context to what I'm about to discuss, which is, some interesting comments from Shaq tonight during the broadcast of this game, or it might have been before the broadcast of this game. Anthony Edwards had an abysmal shooting night the other night against the Golden State Warriors. And a lot of people are high on him, and rightly so. He had a great rookie campaign. He's still very young. You figure that, the ceiling's only going to go up. Tonight, another poor shooting night for Anthony Edwards. 13 minutes, 2 of 7 from the field, 8 points. T-Wolves lead the Clippers right now, 45-44, 5:26 to go in the second quarter. But listen to the comments of Shaq and the comparison he brings up when talking about Anthony Edwards. It's definitely going to get some people's attention.
It's not my place to say he's great now or, he's not great now, but I think he's a fabulous player. But where I come from, watching people like Candace and Jamal, you have to be great for a long period of time because we all remember Jeremy Lin. What happened to him? Just saying. Y'all was giving him, I'm not shooting shot, I'm just saying, y'all was, he's a great player, and y'all gave him the Sports Illustrated cover, but when reality kicked in.
Jeremy Lin. The strain, what the strain is going on?
Sorry, Jeremy. Y'all put that,
Liz at home chilling.
Y'all put that man on Sports Illustrated.
I'm just simply saying, but
Y'all did.
I mean, Jeremy Lin was an incredible run. I was working in Kentucky. I didn't put him anywhere.
But in order to be great, you have to be great for a consistent period of time. Not 1 week, not 1 month, not 1 year. You got to continue to be great. It's not my
it's kind of interesting. Everybody went nuts. Linsanity. I was in New York when it happened. Well, I was in San Francisco for a little while. Then in New York when it happened. But a lot of people were singing the praises of Jeremy Lin. And what happened? He got basically run out of the game because he would get hurt. Did that deal with the Rockets. How'd that work out in Houston? Well, you know the answer. Oh. Oy vey. Yeah, it's 2020. Yeah, but part of that could also be the fact that Melo is a ball hog. You can look at it. You can look at it the other way. No, but it definitely changed the role of Jeremy Lin. To put him in that sort of situation, where now he had to play off of Melo as opposed to being the guy. It's fine. I appreciate what Shaq is saying, though. Look at Trae Young in Atlanta. Everybody goes nuts about Trae Young in Atlanta, but and he's still undoubtedly a really good player. But I think all of a sudden people are starting to come around to the idea that Trae Young may not be as good. He's averaging 27 points a game, and all that's great. He only shoots 43% from the field. He makes 1 out of every 3 3-pointers. Nice player and everything, but he basically just got Nate McMillan canned, and there is a perceived, rightly or wrongly, attitude problem there. It's kind of interesting when you look at these guys, and I go back to the old Dennis Green line. You want to crown him? Crown him. He said something a little more vulgar than that. Actually, you could say ass. So you want to crown him? Crown their ass. That whole thing. They're exactly who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook. And is Trae Young going to ultimately be and you look at the money that Atlanta has put into him. And now the money they've put into Quinn Snyder. And we were talking about this last night with Kurt Heelan from Pro Basketball Talk, and he's right. Let me tell you, the rubber's about to meet the road in Atlanta when it comes to Trae Young and, playing for a guy like Quinn Snyder, who they're paying, I think, $8 million a year to be the head coach there. I mean, he's making buku bucks. It's no longer, if there's a dispute between Trae Young and Quinn Snyder, Trae Young's going to win. That ain't the case when you go and give a long-term deal to Quinn Snyder and you're paying him big head coaching money. Trae Young's got to figure out a way to make it work because you ran one guy out of town. You ran another guy out of town. Now you're on your third head coach. And people are going to start to kind of wonder, well, maybe it isn't the coach. Maybe it's Trae Young. So maybe the next person to go, if it doesn't work with Quinn Snyder, is Trae Young. That's certainly the impression you get when they go and hire Quinn Snyder. Figure out a way to make it work with this guy if you're Trae Young. But back to the Anthony Edwards thing. He's still young. He's missing Karl Anthony Towns. He's basically having to carry that team offensively on his back. So I can appreciate the fact that the young man is struggling a bit, but to compare him to Jeremy Lin, I mean, really? You want to compare the ability of Jeremy Lin to Anthony Edwards? I mean, Shaq kind of loses me there when I hear him make that comparison. 1-800-224-2004, 800-224-2004 if you want to call into the show. If you want to text into the show, the text line is open. The cash-in text line is open. 888-670-8549. Toll free, 888-670-8549 if you want to hit up the cash-in text line. Has Dallas lost yet? Is that final? Dallas has... Wow, they lost 124-122. Eesh. Ay. I'm curious what happened. I'm curious to see what happened at the end of that game. If it was... Because they've had, some serious issues with running last-second plays since Kyrie Irving came over. Just terrible collapses at the end of games. Let's see. Kyrie Irving had a 25-foot step-back jump shot to try and win the game, and he missed. Yep. Mavericks had 7 seconds coming out of a timeout, down 124-122, and it was Kyrie taking the final shot, and they lost. I'm telling you, boy, oh boy. Yeah, I mean, I don't think any of us thought that it would, necessarily be a swimmingly amazing start. That there was going to be some growing pains and, sort of a time of adjustment for this Dallas team with Kyrie and Luka and seeing how it worked. But now you have to start to ask yourself, what happens if it's really bad, really fast? And all of a sudden you find yourself 9th or 10th in the West and having to figure out, are we going to be able to make the playoffs? Are we going to be able to make the play-in? And you just went and gave up, some pieces of your team, draft picks, to the Nets, who were just laughing all the way to the bank with these guys. And the Nets could actually wind up making the postseason. And the Mavericks now, all of a sudden, they're 7th in the West. They're now in the play-in tournament. They're 32-31. And I got news for you. They're 32-31. The Blazers, who are 11th in the West, are 29-31. The Lakers are 29-33. The Thunder are 28-33. I mean, the Mavericks are a couple of losses away from potentially being on the outside of the playoff bubble with 20 games left in the season. Is it time to panic in Dallas? I think it's a legitimate question. I wouldn't have in my wildest imagination thought I'd be saying this only a couple of weeks after this deal gets consummated. But you have to wonder, what do you do if you're the Mavericks and it continues to go downhill with Luka and Kyrie together? I mean, they were a 4 seed, a 5 seed in the West without Kyrie. Now all of a sudden you're a 7 seed. We're having these late game problems with just inbounding balls and throwing the ball away. Then Kyrie is the one taking the game winner tonight, not Luka. And you miss, and you lose to Indiana, who's 7 games under 500, 6 games under 500, whatever. Oh, boy. I hate to say it. It's gonna become a tasty story in Dallas if they continue to struggle with Kyrie Irving teamed up with Luka. I can't wait to ask Justin Termini about it. He's going to join us in a couple of minutes. JT does a great job with SiriusXM NBA Radio. We'll get his thoughts on the whole situation in Dallas with Kyrie and Luka. What do the Lakers do without LeBron? Get his thoughts on that. Nikola Jokic. Whew, amazing. 100th career triple-double. 15th in his last 20. He's going to win the MVP for a third straight time. And I know the writers are going to hold their nose because they don't want to give it to him because Larry Bird was the last to win 3 in a row. We can't put Nikola Jokic on that level. They're not going to have a choice. He's making it impossible not to make him MVP. Justin Termini joins us next on the Cash In, Sports Map Radio. I'll tell you. Oh, I do, but he's minus 310. And Embiid is the next best odds at plus 600. I mean, that's strong. That's as strong as it gets. Baby, I'm ready to go. Do, 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 do. Really? Horse shit. Term. Justin Termini. Oh, now. All right. You can weigh in. The cash-in text line is open. 888-670-8549. 888-670-8549. Sirius XM NBA Radio's Justin Termini, our guest. Catch him in the afternoon with Eddie Johnson over on Sirius XM. So I didn't think that it was even possible I would ask this question, JT, but I'm starting to think we have to. If it really just continues to go really bad, that's two reallys in one sentence, which isn't very good. But if it continues to go south like this with Dallas and these late game sort of snafus, or, you get Kyrie missing the potential game winner tonight, and those shots used to go to Luka, and this thing just continues to unravel, and all of a sudden they're a 7 seed right now, and then they're a 10 seed, and heck, they're a couple losses away from being outside of the play-in tournament. I mean, what do you do if you're Dallas in this situation? Do you just have to ride with it no matter how bad it goes? I mean, if they drop 10 of 11 or 11 of 13, do you just keep going?
Yeah, I mean, well, they're stuck with this roster here for this season. And you're right. I mean, they're now 1-4 with these two guys in the lineup. And you saw it again come down to the final seconds of the final possession, which is just an absolute disaster tonight against Indiana. Same thing happened against the Lakers, where Kyrie and Luka had the little miscommunication. Same thing happened against the Timberwolves when they lost that game by 3, and they're passing the ball back and forth, and neither one of them got a shot off. So they're 1-4 in the 5 games they played together. The only team they beat was San Antonio, who is a couple of minutes away from maybe losing their 17th consecutive game. It's a tie game right now with Utah in the final couple of minutes. So they've been a disaster. The team doesn't play any defense. They didn't even fire to the trade, and then they traded away Dorian Finney-Smith, who was their best perimeter defender, and got back Kyrie Irving, who has no interest in playing any defense.
So, but they're just going to have to ride with it. I mean, there's nothing else they could do. I mean, look, I'll say, I said this last night on the show. I'll still always applaud a team for going for it. And let's be honest, they weren't winning a title with the roster they had, minus Kyrie and all the other guys that they wound up sending to the Nets. It wasn't like they were winning a title anyway, so you're in the same situation at the end of the day anyway, and he's a free agent at the end of the year. You could always let him go if it doesn't work out, and then retool and try and bring in guys to play around Luka, right?
Yeah, well, you gave up assets is the problem in order to get Kyrie Irving, right? So you gave up guys in order to get him. And then, all right, you have some cap space in the offseason to get guys to play alongside Luka. Who are you going to get? I mean, Harrison Barnes, Kyle Kuzma, that's about as good as it's going to get in the offseason as regards to the options that you have to play with Luka. So their decision to let Brunson go was a monumental mistake because he's a better player right now than Kyrie Irving.
Yes!
He's more durable.
Thank you.
He's a better leader. He's more consistent. He doesn't have the ego issues that get in the way. So I'd rather have Jalen Brunson than Kyrie Irving. So, yeah, I mean, listen, and this is supposed to be the good part with Kyrie, right? Like the first couple of weeks or months that Kyrie was in a new situation, like the honeymoon period, and then after that it goes south. If it's going south already, I can't imagine how bad it will be by the end of the season.
Yeah. And like I said, everybody's saying the right things right now. I want to know how long. What's the over-under on how long before we start to hear, it's not working. Attitude. The chemistry. I want to know how long it is. I got to be honest. I got my popcorn. I mean, I when it comes to stuff like this as a sports radio host, you know as well as I do, we're just waiting for the explosion somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's always good with Kyrie. I mean, it's not good if he's on the team, if he's the team you're rooting for, but he's going to give you electric individual plays on the court that don't lead to winning, unless he's blessed to play with the best player that's ever played, arguably, in LeBron James. I mean, think about it, for example, with Kyrie for a second. Just think of Damian Lillard. Lillard right now, 21 consecutive games, and he's on fire again tonight in the game against Golden State as of the end of the first quarter, which I changed channels. But Lillard's best teammate has been LaMarcus Aldridge before Lillard was Lillard, right? Kyrie's had the opportunity to play with LeBron, Kevin Durant, Jason Tatum, and Jaylen Brown, James Harden, and now he's getting to play with Luka Doncic. the guy's going to go down with like arguably the best teammates in the history of the sport, and he's messing it up.
Talking with my man Justin Termine, does a great job over on Sirius XM NBA radio here in afternoons with Eddie Johnson over there. Luka, by the way, tonight 39 on 14 of 25 shooting. Kyrie 16 on 7 of 18 shooting.
Yet they draw up the final play for Kyrie on a step back three at home down 2. When you got and so that's another thing that factors in is like maybe they're trying to keep this guy happy so they can re-sign him in the offseason. There's no way you should be going to Kyrie in that situation when he's not playing well. And you got the best player in the world who's standing in the corner with his hands on his head.
And Jason Kidd's just watching like the rest of us, man. He's just, he's not the savior.
That's what
he's
he said
not
after the last game.
He's not the savior.
Not to me. I'm just you're just watching the game, but you're getting paid to watch the game. The rest of us aren't.
Yeah. How about coaching? How about coaching up, Jason Kidd? Oh my God, it drives me nuts. Talking about my man, love Justin Termine, Sirius XM NBA radio. Catch him in the afternoon. With Eddie Johnson. I know it's early. How do you grade the Russell Westbrook situation in Los Angeles with the Clippers? And I thought it was fascinating. The odds makers actually, I think, made the odds worse for the Clippers after Westbrook gets signed, almost saying, "Hey man, we think wherever this guy goes, your team gets worse." Is there anything in you that makes it believe it could work better with the Clippers than it did for him in Los Angeles with the Lakers? Maybe just because they have so much more talent around him?
I mean, maybe it works out just because he finally changes knowing that his career could be over after these 20 games if it doesn't work out. So when you know you're up against the wall and it's your last chance, I think you always kind of change maybe a little bit. And so far, I guess it's worked out all right, but I would say it doesn't work out. So I agree with the odds maker in that their chances are worse because it was funny. Lawrence Frank was talking about all the things they needed. And he's like a guy that, can't be played off the floor defensively, a guy that can guard multiple positions, a guy that doesn't take the ball out of Kawhi Paul George's hand, a guy who can shoot. And Russell Westbrook does none of that. So I didn't understand it. And then the other thing that makes it weird is he's not like Kevin Durant or Klay Thompson, for example, whereas, Paige, you could put those guys into any lineup throughout NBA history. They fit in seamlessly, right? Because just the style they play. It's difficult to play with Russell Westbrook. It's an acquired taste. You got to get used to it. And the Clippers' biggest issue up to this point to me is the fact they have no continuity because Kawhi and Paul George are never on the floor together. So now you're adding another guy into the mix that these guys got to get accustomed to playing with prior to the postseason. So it just makes it even more confusing in LA. So I didn't like the signing, and I didn't think Lawrence Frank was behind it. I thought it was a decision where they just let Paul George and Kawhi say, "Hey, we want them," and they went out and signed them because their star players wanted them.
The Warriors have given up 65 at the half tonight against the Blazers at home. Are we well past the point of sort of giving up on the idea that this team can play enough defense to actually win in the postseason?
Yeah, they're done. They're not going anywhere, and they're going to be stuck in the plane, it looks like. And, I guess Dallas could get back and drop back. Everybody really is kind of mediocre in the West outside of Denver and whatever we're going to see from Phoenix once they get together. And I actually thought the Lakers could be a threat if LeBron stayed healthy. And if they sneak in and LeBron gets rest over the next couple of weeks, they still can be, because I think they're a completely different team. But Golden State's just one of about 4 or 5 mediocre teams that have an opportunity to get to the second round, but nothing past that.
Justin Termine, our guest, talking with him. Sirius XM NBA Radio does a great job in the afternoons over there with Eddie Johnson. You can catch him. Are you buying into the Knicks?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing because I looked at the stats today. Over the last 40 games, they got the 5th best record in the NBA. In fact, they're just a half game behind Boston since I think December 4th. So the last 40 games, which is half of an NBA season, they're a half game behind Boston. They got the 5th best record in the NBA. They're a top 4 offense. They play hard every night for Tom Thibodeau. I guess the concern would be, and this has always been like a Thibodeau problem with his teams, with Chicago, with the Knicks, a couple of years ago when they got to the postseason, if they play so hard every single day during the regular season, which not all NBA teams do, you wonder once they get to the postseason and everybody plays hard, do they lose a little bit just because, now clearly the opponent they're going to face is going to play as hard as they possibly can. So that would be, I guess, my only concern. But This is a completely different team than we saw 2 years ago because Jalen Brunson is a better player than Julius Randle and has opened so much for this offense. So, yeah, I buy the Knicks. Do I buy the Knicks to beat the Bucks or the Celtics or the Sixers in the second round? No. But I think they could beat Cleveland in the first round if that's who they're matched up against.
Justin Termini, always good to catch up with you, my friend. Hope that dog walk tonight by the beach was good.
Yeah, we had to slip one in because the weather's been inclement here.
I know.
And, we haven't been outside and the dog's
I got to go.
Anchoring for some
I'm
exercise.
out of time. We're coming back.
All right, bye.
Thanks, JT.
Thanks,
I'll
Dave.
talk to you later. Bye-bye. I love him. The former sixth man of the year. Why? Which Eddie Johnson were you thinking? No, that was the Eddie Johnson. Shoot. I just sent this guy a direct message on on Twitter from my dog's Twitter account. I'm so stupid. Jesus Christ. God help me. No. Dookie the Puggle. Shit. Yeah. Did not make mine. Fuck. Going back to the middle and round again. I'm going to be there to the end. 100% pure love. We are halfway home on this excuse me, Tuesday edition of the show. There are people speculating. I don't even want to know if maybe that's not the right word. Suggesting? That's speculating too. I mean, could Aaron Rodgers actually announce his retirement on a podcast tomorrow? I mean, by the way, if he announces his retirement anywhere other than Pat McAfee's show, that would be the greatest thing ever. Because I mean, it's fantastic. I mean, here's Pat McAfee, who basically lays down at the altar of Aaron Rodgers for, 17 weeks of the NFL regular. I mean, you want to talk about, watch yourself, Jason. You can get yourself in trouble. I mean, the term I have used is verbal fellatio, and I think that is fair, and that is not anything that is going to get us in trouble anywhere. Might piss off Pat McAfee, but I don't really care. If Aaron Rodgers, who has basically done this dance with Pat McAfee all year, an hour every Tuesday or whatever on his show, if he goes on the podcast of the guy who was basically promoting ayahuasca to announce his decision to retire, that would be the greatest thing ever. Like, as much as I want to see Aaron Rodgers play for the Jets next year and the dumpster fire that could become, I would kill, beg, borrow, and steal for him to announce his retirement on this guy's, doofy podcast tomorrow. So this is the promo running on this guy's podcast for Aaron Rodgers' appearance tomorrow. Listen.
Out of the black. Mm-hmm. Not too many people I know have done that journey.
There's two choices the person has. Wait for the world to bring the darkness upon them, or they can go out and find the darkness and prepare for the inevitable challenges that the world brings.
And just kind of let whatever was going to come in. And it did. A lot of great contemplation around, how I show up in the world. And then, I spent parts of a couple of the days imagining what it would be like to retire, and then imagining what it would be like to continue to play.
Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about the epitome of, look, if you want to make the argument that he is not a sociopath, or that he is not a not sociopath, wrong word, strike that. If you want to make the argument, pathological in his narcissism. But if you want to make the argument that he's not pathological in his narcissism, and that this is simply just a guy who loved to look inward, and I'd love to find the deeper meaning behind everything. There's a saying in poker: think long, think wrong. You'll often hear me say it on this show. Think long, think wrong. If you think too much about a certain decision, maybe I'll go play poker tomorrow. If you think too long about a certain decision, you're generally going to make the wrong one. Your first instinct is the one that you should generally go with. And I'm not saying snap judgment on big things in life, but whatever your first instinct is, it tends to be the right one when you talk about these sorts of things. But if there is a guy, and again, if you want to take the argument away that he is not a pathological narcissist, which we all know he is. Anybody from afar can sense that with him. If you've watched any of his conversations with Pat McAfee, which I do so that you don't have to. He's just overthinking this a million different ways. Dude, either you can still play and you want to, and you have that desire, whether it's to win a Super Bowl, whether it's to win an MVP, whatever it is, or you can't. And you've gone out of your way to say you think you're still good enough to win an MVP. So the question is, do you want to play anymore or not? How long do you have to think about that? Yes, Ben Roethlisberger was the perfect example of this. He was retired 3 years before he retired, especially at that position. Yeah. But he's still proven I don't know. He's been talking about retirement for a couple of years here. That he's going year to year. Yeah, but only some of that is in his control. You know, he can only control that to a degree. He can control where he won't play, but he has less control in terms because they can just say, hey, we're keeping you. Here is Brian Gutekunst, the head of player personnel, GM, whatever you want to call him, for the Packers earlier today, discussing this whole idea about what the team is going to do vis-a-vis Aaron Rodgers. And let's see if I can find it here. I just had it in front of me. Oh, geez, Louise. I know I said geez, Louise. Brian Gutekunst. Let's see here. Brian Gutekunst. Talking about Aaron Rodgers. So here he is earlier today talking about, what the process has been like. And there's a lot of people that feel like, well, take a listen.
But Aaron is, as of right now, is still.
Who initiates when those conversations will take place with Aaron?
Yep. Click. I'm going to say we're having meetings and we're constantly monitoring the situation. But Aaron is, as of right now, is still a member of this football team.
I see. So this was. See, I played the wrong one. There was one here where he. So he said, essentially what he said is, I'll just paraphrase and go through the statement. That was a local talk show in Green Bay that was talking about the comments from Gutekunst, who's basically just kind of leaving it all dangling out there. And the one thing he did say at the Combine in Indianapolis is they believe Jordan Love is ready to start playing quarterback right now. So if you take that deduction, so to speak, and you start, putting the pieces together, it doesn't seem like there's any way that Aaron Rodgers is going to be back there. When you hear Gutekunst, say things like that. Here it is. If he wants Aaron Rodgers back, here's Gutekunst when asked that question.
Do you want him back as the quarterback of the Packers?
Yeah, I think those discussions have to happen and making sure that it's the right fit. But obviously, we know the kind of player that Aaron is, and once we had those conversations, we'll be able to move forward. We'll have more to say.
But then, what the hell are you waiting for in terms of having those conversations? I mean, if I'm a Packers fan at this point, it's a pox on both of their houses. Now, it's a pox on both the houses of the Packers as an organization and Aaron Rodgers that we are, a month removed from the Super Bowl? Right? About a month removed from the Super Bowl? And these two sides still have not had any real substantial or substantive conversation regarding what you're doing with your franchise quarterback? I find that hard to believe. Either somebody's lying or this situation is being incredibly mismanaged by the Green Bay Packers. I mean, what are you waiting for? What's the holdup here? Because as much as we want to sit here and say that it's all on Aaron Rodgers, and we want to call him a pathological narcissist, or we want to say it's all about him, and he's enjoying the 15 minutes that comes with, well, maybe 15 minutes is the wrong word, but as much as we talk about that, this is as much on the Packers as it is Aaron Rodgers. Figure it out. What do you want to do? You want to keep the guy? You want to trade him? Aaron was just in the dark for 4 days. Feels like the Packers have been there longer. We're coming back. Yeah, nothing in particular. I'm just bouncing all over the place tonight. Yeah, if there's anything you like, I'll give you editorial control. Jeremy Lin. If he wasn't a God Squatter, total Yes. Yeah, he's former. Who knows what a bear would do on cocaine? Who was the guy that started it that was in Goodfellas? He just died. Ray Liotta. Not for nothing. Man, I mean, that might have been the movie that killed him. Let's be honest about it. I mean, come on. That winds up being, I mean, seriously, that's the last movie you get if you're Ray Liotta. Poor Ray Liotta. I gotta see. Is that the last movie? Tell me there's something else he's in that's coming out. I'm looking at his IMDb right now. I gotta see. Oh, it was the last. Oh my God, it's so bad. Don't spoil it. Is there going to be a sequel? Okay, that tells me all I need. That discover the cocaine. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Have you seen, by the way, I still haven't seen that final Halloween. Don't tell me anything because I do want to see that. Have you seen, there's a movie I was going to ask you about. Can't think of it. Damn it. Just escaped my brain. That's it. It's gone. Never coming back. Oh, that's what I was going to ask you. Did you see the Top Gun sequel? See, I haven't seen it yet. I have Paramount Plus, too. Or you're just a Scientologist who wants to support the cause. I heard it was very good. Oh, I heard it was very good. See, that's a movie you see in the theaters, though, because of all the, the size and scope and all of that stuff. Yes. Because Cocaine Bear is something you watch on the couch at home. You don't spend $10 or $12 to go to the movie theater and see it. Oh, now you're a thespian? You're a thespian? Is that what you're saying? Oh, okay. I said thespian instead of thespian. You actually said it correctly this time. Yeah. You just said it again. Why are you still calling them Jaguars? Oh, okay. It's fair enough. Oh, we got another hour. Huh. Wraps it up for this hour of the show. Go see Cocaine Bear. All right, fair enough. We're coming back on the other side. Guess what's right around the corner? You know what it is. Cocaine Bear in the theater? No chance. All right, I'm going to do an impromptu interview here at the top of the hour. I'm just totally winging it tonight, and I'm having so much fun doing it. I'm getting Peter Bukowski on. He's co-founder of The Leap and host of the Locked On Packers podcast. Yeah. Yep. Oh, it's tomorrow. Never mind. Bonbons. Bum, 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 bum. Final hour of a Tuesday/Wednesday edition of the show. Thank you for being with us. Boy, my sunburn is itchy. Whew. Not fun. I don't know how you get sunburn when it's 54 degrees outside. How do you get sunburn when it's 54 degrees out? This is ridiculous. It's making it very uncomfortable for me tonight. I suppose I should have. Then I wouldn't have birdied the 14th hole at the Dinah Shore like stadium course that they have at Mission Hills today. Wouldn't have been able to do that. Tomorrow on the show, we got a good show already lined up for tomorrow. I mean, I can't speak much for tonight. I think I kind of suck tonight. But tomorrow on the show, Nick Ferguson, former NFL safety, will drop by the program. And Peter Bukowski will make his cash-in debut on the show tomorrow. He is host of the Locked On Packers. Oh, my goodness. Wow. He's the host of Locked On Packers podcast. Thank you. Peter Bukowski, the host of the Locked On why can't I say this? Locked On Packers podcast, will join us on the show tomorrow night. So already a couple of things in the bag for tomorrow night's show. Looking forward to that. And who knows, maybe we're going to get some news from Aaron Rodgers tomorrow. Maybe he's going to go on somebody show that isn't named Pat McAfee and break some news. I want to see Pat McAfee turn on Aaron Rodgers. Oh, I want to see him turn on Aaron Rodgers so bad. Yeah, I mean, and that would work. You know, Pat McAfee actually, interestingly enough, he said something very interesting recently when he was getting ready to come back while he was on vacation. I don't know if he's still on vacation, but he was talking about like his future with WWE as if it was in doubt, because he says, well, I may not like whoever they sell it to and that sort of thing. There's no guarantees. It seems like Pat McAfee's in a place right now where he's spread himself so many different places. And I think he's trying to kind of figure out, best advice I ever got. And I still haven't adhered to it. But the best advice I ever got was from a guy a lot of people know if you listen to sports radio, Colin Cowherd. Took me out to dinner in Hartford in 2010. He's the reason I still work in sports radio, because he was one of the people who believed in me as a solo talent in the industry at a time where everything was going to two-man shows and all that stuff. Colin was somebody who believed in me. But one of the things he said when we went out first time we went out to dinner, he said, Jason, you got to know what you are. Because at the time, I was hosting a TV show. I was doing play-by-play for college football, play-by-play for college basketball, play-by-play for a pro football team, the UFL, albeit. But I was doing that. And I was hosting a talk show 5 days a week. And he said to me, know what you are. Figure it out. Figure out what you are and do that one thing to the best of your ability. And I got to say, even at 45 years old and 12 years removed from that conversation, 13 years removed from that conversation, I still don't know what I am. And I get the sense that Pat McAfee is kind of trying to figure that out, because he's doing the ESPN thing. You know, sometimes during the live college football broadcasts, he's they've got that alternate broadcast thing that he does. He does game day. He did that this year where he was going out on the road with the game day crew. He was doing Friday Night SmackDown. He's showing up at WWE pay-per-views. He's wrestling at WrestleMania. He's all over the place. And you get to a point where if you spread yourself too thin, you wind up being good at a lot of things, but not really great at any one thing. Not any sort of legacy in one thing. And you burn out. And, Pat's not a young guy. He's not a kid. And, he's got a wife and all of that stuff. I just get the sense he's trying to figure out what the hell he is and what he wants to be. Doing a lot of things well isn't the same as being great at something. And I can appreciate having, been at a point in my career when I was much younger that I was doing all these different things, and I was good at all of them, but I wasn't great at any of them. It wasn't. Oh, you cash in. You can cash in a huge way. Yeah. Well, I think he's very good on the wrestling stuff. I have to say, for as much as I bang on him about the whole Aaron Rodgers thing, I think he's really good on the wrestling. I really do. But you also have to wonder, how much does that really pay? You're on the road every Friday, 52 Fridays out of the year, then the pay-per-views. It's a lot, especially when you combine it with doing a radio show every day. I mean, there's burnout factor, and I'll guarantee you some of this that's going on with him right now, it's burnout related. It's absolutely burnout related. And again, this isn't me banging on him. This is me just an honest assessment as somebody who's been in this game and done this for a lot longer than Pat McAfee has. It's taxing hosting a show every day, even if you got a whole team around you. And I bang on him for the fact that he couldn't. And I don't say this in a braggadocious way. Pat McAfee couldn't do what I do, which is I've essentially hosted a show completely solo. With chiming in from a producer here and there, but not, 5 or 6 people on my team and every big name guest at their disposal. You can put a monkey in there and they could do that to some degree and make it entertaining. It's hard when you got to do a show by yourself and you have 1 or 2 guests and you have to be able to carry the conversation for 45 minutes out of the hour. But he's good at what he does. I mean, there's no getting around it. He's good at what he does. But here's the other problem, and I hear him say this all the time. Oh, I don't really watch the NBA. He'll interview an NBA guest about a big story, and he'll openly admit to the fact that he doesn't watch the NBA. If he's not talking about the NFL, he's utterly useless talking about sports. And as somebody who's hosting a sports talk show every day, as he does, you might want to be able to watch the other sports. But again, this is the problem. If you're doing College Game Day, and if you're doing WWE and you're hosting your show every day and you're doing all these other things that he's involved with, it's just no way you can do it all. There's only so many hours in a day. And you got to sleep. And you're married. It was a lot easier for me to do everything when I wasn't married, when I was single. Or even when my partner lived on the other side of the world and I was living in the U.S. and we were traveling back and forth. It was easier for me to do everything I wanted to do because I didn't have to answer to anybody. I didn't have to come home and watch a TV show or something like that with my significant other. I did whatever I wanted. It's hard. I don't envy. Well, I do envy. I envy the amount of money he makes. I'll freely admit that. I'd be happy if I made 1/10 of what he makes just to do his goofy show in the afternoon. But I mean, when he's off, they literally just don't do the show. It's not like they do like best of or anything. They just don't do a show. Just goes dark. That's it. That's great. It's a great life if you can get it. By the way, can I update something we were talking about in the last hour? We had Justin Termini on, and I was banging on the fact that the Warriors were down 65-48 at the half. Would you believe it? The Warriors outscored the Blazers in the third quarter 39-17, and they've outscored them in the fourth quarter 17-9, and they lead 104-91 with 6:54 to go in the fourth quarter at Chase Center in San Francisco. Unbelievable. Well, good thing I didn't tell anybody to make any live bets. I have not made any live bets in a couple of weeks on this show because we had the break. I was off for a week. Then we had the All-Star break and all that stuff. So I have not done any live bets on the show. I've been bad. The Warriors lead the Blazers 104-91. Jordan Poole picking up the slack tonight. 29 on 10 of 24 shooting. All 5 Warrior starters are in double figures. And they didn't get anything from their bench. But boy, their defense. They've given up 26 points. Basically, for the first 18 minutes of the second half tonight, the Warriors have given up 26 points to the Blazers after giving up 65 in the first half. You wonder what Steve Kerr must have said at halftime to rally the troops. Still, look, it's fine and dandy that they're, going out there and maybe they get a win tonight, but I feel like the die has been cast on what this Warriors team is. Who knows? Maybe if they make the playoffs and everybody's healthy, who knows what's going on with Andrew Wiggins, who you have to start to wonder this illness and this whole thing with him being out. And the Warriors really aren't saying much about it. Gives you cause for concern for sure. Anyway, Warriors beating the Blazers. We're coming back with more on the Cash In on Sports Map Radio. Stay with us. Minnesota leads the Clippers 95-89. 5:55 to go in the fourth. Take a look at the live betting there. It's now Minnesota 97, the Clippers 89. 5:32 to go in the fourth. And, Minnesota minus 6.5 is the live betting number. How about the Clippers? Plus 470 on the live money line. Now it's down to plus 370. I see an opportunity here. I'm not going to lie. I feel a live bet coming. Sound the alarms. Let's go Clippers plus 5.5 with 4:45 to go in the fourth quarter. Clippers plus 5.5, our live bet, with the T-Wolves leading the Clippers 97-89. So down 8. If they lose by 3 or less, we are winners. It's officially a live bet. Plus 5.5. T-Wolves now lead 97-91. So we are already climbing back into it. I like it. You know the team. Look, does anybody have any faith in the T-Wolves on the road in this spot? This Clippers team is playing much better. I'm going to turn my head so I can see what's going on here. 97-91 is the score. Maybe Anthony Edwards heard the comments from Shaq before the game tonight, saying essentially that Anthony Edwards is the next Jeremy Lin. He didn't exactly say that. He didn't exactly say it that way. But Edwards tonight, 17 points, just 6 of 16 shooting. So his shooting woes just continue. Rudy Gobert's got 13. Jaden McDaniels has 17. Kyle Anderson's got 10. They got a bunch of guys contributing. Boy, what happened to Austin Rivers? Hasn't worked out very well for him, has it? And look at the NBA tonight. Only thing I care about right now is the Knicks. Not gonna lie. Just give me his. Oh yeah, I'll absolutely own it. San Antonio won tonight, by the way. Snapped their 800 game losing streak. Yeah, it absolutely is. Look, I mean, it's all about getting that number 1 pick. Getting Wembanyama is what it's all about right now. Actually, and they're one up on the loss side, but they are 13-48. That's really bad. Yeah, that is really bad. You know what's crazy? I just looked at the NBA draft odds, the number 1 pick. Wembanyama right now is minus 8,000 to be the number 1 overall pick. Like, it's done. It's a wrap. There was no drama at all. Yao Ming. Let's talk about Yao Ming. My Bill Walton impersonation. Let's talk about Yao Ming. Greatest center of all time. I just saw it this weekend with Woody Harrelson. I am an SNL watcher. Yeah. I'm an SNL watcher. Scoot Henderson plus 2,500. Wembanyama minus 8,000. Amen. Yes, minus 8. So it goes Wembanyama at minus 8,000. Next best odds are Scoot Henderson at plus 2,500. Then it jumps to plus 20,000 on Amen Thompson. It is. Yeah, absolutely is. No, without question. It's absolutely a two-player. It's absolutely a two-player draft. They have hit a timeout. 3:47 to go in the fourth. Now 99-93. T-Wolves on top of the Clippers. We told you take the Clippers plus 5.5. They are down by 6 right now. I might even listen. I think you even take the Clippers at plus 4.5 right now. Yeah, let's make a second one. Clippers plus 4.5. Yep. I like the Clippers plus 5.5. I like the Clippers plus 4.5. I think the Clippers are going to win the game, but I just think it's safer to give yourself a little bit of cushion on the spread rather than the money line, because they can tie the game. It goes to overtime. Crazy stuff happens in overtime all the time. To me, Clippers plus 5.5, Clippers plus 4.5. I like either of them right now. Yeah, we're going with that. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. 1-800-224-2004, 800-224-2004. If you want to tweet at the show, feel free to do it at the back page. Again, on Twitter, at the back page. And if you have not downloaded the Jock MKT app yet, I think it's time you do so. You've heard me talk about Jock MKT in the past. You can invest in players. So if you want to buy a share of a certain player for a game and a night, you don't have to go and do the fantasy thing where you draft an entire lineup or anything like that. You can just go invest in your favorite player. It's as simple as that. You can do it at the Jock MKT app. Use the promo code CASHIN for a 100% deposit bonus. And now Jock MKT, it's even better. They've got pick'em games. I've played them. I've won with them. It's a ton of fun. I love pick'em games. It takes all of the work out of the idea of, you got to pick, an entire lineup. If it's gambling, you got prop bets and the juice and all that stuff. Pick'em games, great way to go if you're just kind of getting an entry into the whole sports betting world. And with Jock MKT, it's kind of cool too, because you can pick across multiple games. You can pick 2 players, you can pick 3, 4, 5 player prop bets. They're all over the place. Jock MKT. Go and download the Jock MKT app today. Again, use promo code CASHIN and get your 100% deposit bonus. Do it now. So we are at, let's see here, 102.93 T-Wolves with 3:05 to go in the fourth quarter. What is going on, Clippers? Let's go. It's a final in Golden State. The Warriors put up, this is insane. The Warriors had 48 points at the half tonight. You know what the final score was tonight in Golden State? 123-105. What'd they put up? Almost 80 in the second half on the Blazers? I mean, good grief. Wow, that is a big number. Golden State waking up at least on the offensive side tonight, and they played some defense in the second half. So good win for the Warriors again, just trying to get by until they get Stephen Curry back. You got some couple of big stars out right now, with LeBron hurting, with Stephen Curry obviously hurting. Andrew Wiggins has been out. They scored 75 in the second half tonight. Wow. 75. In the second half? They got outscored 75-40 in the second half. How does that happen? How do you outscore a team 65-48 in the first half and then get outscored 75-40 in the second half? How are these games that uneven? I've never seen anything like it in the NBA, like it is this year. Like, no lead is safe. You had the Lakers on Sunday, the game in which LeBron re-injured his foot and is now out of action because of it. I mean, look at that game. The Lakers were down 28 in the second quarter. They come back and win. No lead is safe. T-Wolves and Clippers. Clippers down 8 with 2:20 to go. We'll update you on it on the other side as we continue. It's the Cash In on Sports Map Radio. Oh, hello, Paul George. Yeesh. Oh, Paul George feeling it. There we go. 103.98. Our 5.5 is live. So is our 4.5. Come on, Dave in Connecticut. Come on, Dave in Connecticut. You know you love it. Oh, what kind of shot is that by Westbrook? God, it's so bad. Oh, now it's back to 7. Killing me. Russell Westbrook, what are you doing? Oh, Russell Westbrook, what are you doing? Down 7 with a minute to play. MNF'er. God dang it. Terrible. Sexy bet. It's a sexy bet. A speech blind spot. Greatest line ever uttered on this show. A speech blind spot. And Tyronn Lue does not look happy right now. Need a quick bucket. Oh, boy. Oh, Westbrook for 3. Oh, we're having fun now. So we told you take the Clippers at 5.5. Then we said take the Clippers at 4.5. They're down 4 with 40 seconds to go in the fourth at Crypto in LA. Oh, and man, we are living and dying with this one. Our buddy Dave in Connecticut, who listens to the show, was texting me. Said he had the Clippers at plus 5.5. So, oh no, you're hurting me. Rudy Gobert, big bucket. Shoot. This is about to go south in a big way. Oh no. That's it. It's a wrap. They're going to lose by 6. Oh, come on, man. Well, we got hope. Here's the thing. So the Clippers foul 107-101. They're down 5. They're down 6, right? 107-101, that's 6. Last time I checked. So 107-101? Is that what I said? Yeah, it's 107-101. So they foul the T-Wolves. If let's say they hit the 2 free throws, you get a garbage 3 at the horn that gets you to 5. So we still got a shot for a backdoor cover here. It's not over yet. And at least we can, still win one of the 2 bets. This was not the way I was intending to get back into the live betting on the show. Ugh. Yeah, not good. Oh, Anthony Edwards misses the first. Wow, the fans are all heading for the exits. It is a wrap. They're gone. Even if he misses the second, get a garbage 3, 107-104, we could still get this. All right, he hits the second, so 108-101. So here's the thing. If the Clippers even just get a garbage 2, we're good. Driving to the basket. Oh, no, what's he doing? 3 ball. No good. Oh, that's it. They had an easy layup at the basket, and they pushed it out. Minnesota wins 108-101. If you had the Clippers plus 5.5, yep. Or the Clippers plus 4.5. Wow. The other one we need is... We should do no whammies. No whammies, no whammies. Stop. I think we need that one too. Oh, man. That's bad. Dave in Connecticut is not happy right now. He may call in. Just be ready. Dave in Connecticut. Yep. Dave from Connecticut is not happy. Answer the phone. Just answer the phone. Be like, Morton's Mortuary. You stab him, we slab him. Yeah. You can rip up all your tickets. I'm sorry, guys. It's a bad job by me. I believed in the Clippers. See, Kurt Heelan warned me last night. I believe in the Clippers? Really? Yeah, that's fair. Oh, there's Dave in Connecticut. He can come on the air. He's earned it. I just cost him money. If Dave in Connecticut wants to unleash, go ahead, Dave in Connecticut. Listening to the Cash In on Sports Map Radio. Go ahead, Dave. You're not going to be divorced as a result of this, are you? Yes. Yeah. Oh, she's good. I I know. I was actually planning to do baseball in the final segment because the Dodgers got some bad news today. Yeah, the Gavin Lux news is not good. Also, the Rays are dealing with more injuries for Tyler Glass now, too. Of course. I think you got to just look at guys. That are typically reliable. I think that's what you do. like a Nestor Cortez type guy. I think here's the thing, and I know that baseball is filled with so many hard throwers, but when you're talking about fantasy and having to draft pitchers, the hard throwers scare the hell out of me because they're always getting hurt. Yeah. Is your kid going to have to go without lunch at school this week because I gave you a bad pick? Okay. Oh, nice. See? Yeah, this is great. See? Who says there's no such thing as a free lunch? In the state of Connecticut, there are such things as free lunches. I think that's a good note to end on. That's a good note. Yeah. Dave, appreciate the call, my friend. Dave in Connecticut. See? Who says you can't get a free lunch? I got a free breakfast this morning. Lots of bacon. Oh, man. That's the hardest part of this diet I'm on is I can't eat bacon. I'm not supposed to eat bacon. It's like, how do you not eat bacon? Like, I don't know how a vegetarian goes through life without eating something as amazing as bacon. Like, how do you just eat vegetables and no bacon? Like a BLT, All right, you get your lettuce, get your tomatoes, but the bacon is what makes it. If it was just a BT, that'd be boring. But it's the bacon that makes it. I mean an LT. Damn it. I meant an LT. Yeah, it's par for the course right now. That is par for the course. Boy, so much. Boy, Manny Machado put the fear of God into the Padres with the whole, hey, I'm going to opt out when the season's over. Man, they came running with the deal. Hey, we got something you're going to like here. Oh, man. Listen, Tony Clark is anti-salary cap. So, and I'm a salary cap guy. I want, and I know it's not going to make me popular with union people. And one of my good friends is like the biggest pro-union attorney on the planet. Actually, I don't have a problem telling this story. Lucas Giolito, who I texted with today, Big G, who's a pitcher with the White Sox. Lucas Giolito. Yeah, nickname basis. Trust me, he doesn't call me Big J. But anyway, Lucas Giolito's uncle is a huge labor attorney. So he's like union all day. And if I told him that I was like pro salary cap, he'd probably defriend me. But I am pro salary cap. Baseball needs it. It needs a salary cap and it needs a floor. Can't have these teams simply spending willy-nilly when some teams just aren't going to spend that kind of money. We're coming back with some baseball notes to wrap up the show next. I'm total commie. Yeah. Free market. Wow. Free market what? Free market. Needs a free market. Am I talking to you? Knicks are home for the Nets tomorrow night. Knicks -7. Wow. Knicks getting all sorts of respect now. Oh, Rockets are going to lose again tomorrow. They play the Grizzlies. Over splurging. Splurging is over as it is. So there is no such thing as over splurging. Does not exist. You cannot add the prefix over to splurging. It just doesn't work. Yeah. He said over splurging. Can we just make fun of that, please? There's no such thing as over splurging. You can't have something more perfect. Yeah, you can't say over splurging. I have just confirmed. Yeah. Oh. Yes, Live Golf got like nobody watching. So bad. Here it is. So, Live Golf did. Here we go. CW's inaugural live broadcast of Live Golf drew an average of 289,000 viewers and a 0.18 household rating on Saturday and Sunday. The CEO of Nexstar, which is the parent company of the CW, Perry Sook, said it was still a good start for the circuit. Those numbers exceeded our expectations, and most importantly, the affiliates as well as our own stations were thrilled. Popping champagne over that 0.18. Meanwhile, PGA Tour's Honda Classic for Saturday and Sunday averaged 593,000 viewers on Golf Channel and 2 million viewers on NBC. And they had like nobody in that field. Meanwhile, Live Golf's got Phil Mickelson, and oh, by the way, it's just awful. I mean, Phil's game is so bad right now. I mean, he's not even competitive. The guy's not even competitive. Like, he's not even in the mix in these tournaments. Well, it gets better. And anything that's bad news for Liv is just great news for our show. A report tonight is suggesting that Live Golf is going to stop paying travel expenses for players and caddies. The Saudis are already like, all right, we've got to start cutting back on this stuff. Yep. Alan Shipnuck has revealed that the circuit's 12 teams will need to absorb their own travel costs in the future. Hey, man, you want to get paid all that money, you can pay your own travel. According to Shipnuck in his latest article on the Fire Pit Collective, the organization's 12 teams are being asked to do their bit to ensure money is used wisely, too. That means Live Golf no longer paying for travel expenses, and the investment of team winnings going into growing the franchise rather than being banked by players. For example, that means Charles Howell III, who won $4 million at Live Golf Mayakoba for his individual win, will not keep the money earned by his team. Oh boy. There are so many cracks in the foundation of this thing. And when it falls apart, and it's not a question of if, it is a question of when Live Golf falls apart. Are these guys going to have anywhere to go? And are they going to have to play mini tour? Like, where are these golfers? Some of them that are still actually pretty good. Where are they going to go? I mean, seriously. What a disaster. 0.18. Might be more people watching me right now than that. Good golly. Gavin Lux, done for the season. Dodgers lose the infielder with a torn ACL in his right knee. It didn't look good yesterday, so it's not surprising when that's the end result of that injury that he sustained. On Monday? Dave Roberts says Lux is obviously crushed, that the injury is a huge blow to the Dodgers. One of their top prospects in the organization. He actually put it together last year, too. Carted off the field on Monday after running between second and third base during a game against San Diego. Said he felt something pop and his leg went numb. Sounds like Miguel Rojas is going to get the bulk of the playing time at shortstop. Chris Taylor could get some reps there as well. But Lux last year, 276. 7 triples, 6 home runs, 42 RBIs. He's 25 years old, and I have all of his rookie cards. I guess we can burn those officially. It's about the end of that. And not the only injury concerns. Tyler Glasnow. I wouldn't be expecting him to start the season in the rotation for the Tampa Bay Rays. 6 to 8 weeks in oblique strain. And if anybody's followed baseball, those oblique strains, they can linger. Rays announced Tuesday, grade 2 left oblique strain. Rays manager Kevin Cash told reporters he would book that right now when asked whether Glasnow would miss the start of the season. Still dealing with soreness, bothers him to sneeze and cough. I can't imagine what the hell an oblique injury feels like. I cannot fathom. I recently pulled a groin for the first time. And no joke here. I recently pulled a groin for the first time. And I've always made fun of athletes and like, oh, groin strain, can't play and all that. And let me tell you, I'm 45. I don't have to play sports. I suffered a groin strain. I'll never make fun of it again. You ever have a groin strain, Brian? That is a 0-star experience. Absolutely. Yeah, you don't want to get one of those. I don't. It's obvious when you speak. I've got more than a couple segments tonight. Can I ask you something? Is there anything going on with the Astros in spring training? Because I haven't paid a lick of attention to the Astros. I've just been focused on the Yankees. Jesus. Water is wet. I've got 2 autographed cards of him from the same brand in the same year. On-card autographs of his that I pulled. No, they're 2 different, same card, but 2 different autographs. Like, you know, I mean, you could tell there's a difference in the fact that they're not facsimiles. Like, you could tell they're real autographed cards. You interested? I might give them to you for nothing at this point. No, not like totally different, but you could tell they're that there's distinctly a difference between the 2, not like drastically different. But yeah, I got 2 Lance McCullers autos. I got a bunch of actually. I got a whole stack of Astros stuff that can't even. No, absolutely not. The Jeremy, let me tell you, I got some Jeremy Pena stuff. I just hope he continues to blossom because I have his very first cards that his first professional cards in the minors, which are actually worth some decent money. Still? Oh, wow. Shots fired. Wow. Jeez. All right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna do my Tony Schiavone. We're out of time. I gotta go. We're back with the cash in tomorrow. Thanks for being with us. Yeah, Sports Map Radio. Yeah, it's all right. See you later. But I was watching the clock, so we were okay. Right? We didn't get cut off. Yeah. All right. I'll see you on Thursday. I promise it'll be a better show. Goodbye. Oh, God. I think I have like sunstroke or something, like heat stroke. I don't know how I got so much sun.
I'm like bright red. Look at me. I'm like a lobster. You get sunburn when it's 55 degrees. I don't know how it happens, but it did. That's going to be a wrap for us tonight. Catch you back here tomorrow. Excuse me. Same bat time, same bat channel on Sports Map Radio and the Sports Map Radio app. Yeah, that's it. I'm out of here. See y'all back here tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Bye.